Is this far?
Okay, we'll start now. Good evening and welcome everybody to the Port of Siuslaw March 17th meeting. We'll start the meeting at 7 o'clock. Item number 2, public comment. Do we have anyone that signed up for comments? That's too bad. You lost your chance, so now you'll have to put up with us. Moving on, approval of minutes by consent. Anybody have any issues with the minutes? Hearing none, we will move on to the next item. Item number 4, financial statements.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll say a few words about our financials tonight. The amount of bills paid is for February is $64,336.60, which is on the cover of your check detail report. I'll say a few words, and then if you have any questions about any of these reports, feel free to ask. The balance sheet is showing a cash on hand of $578,337. And when I took a look at what the balance sheet was a year ago, it was cash on hand of $451,000. So we have $126,000 more in reserves. Moving on to the profit and loss budget performance, the variance report. All of our appropriation categories are on track. If you turn to page 5, that's the page that shows the capital outlay. I just wanted to mention that next month you will see some changes on this page under capital outlay. We do have a couple of projects that are on here that are not capital expenditures, and they will be transferred off. One of them is 6142, the Riverfront Roadie property. That was an appraisal cost, which will be transferred into materials and services, as well as 6180, which is West Basin repairs. That also will be transferred into materials and services. Next month you will be given a resolution. There will be a proposal for a contingency transfer for a couple of capital project repairs and improvements. The next report is the profit and loss previous year comparison. You will note that on the third column over, the dollar change between this year compared to last year, we are $20,000 ahead in income, and we have spent $30,000 less this year than we did last year. On the occupancy report, we've been steadily seeing an increase over the months for a long time, but this month, for February, there's been a little bit of a downturn, and I think that's the year-to-date occupancy for this fiscal year, and that's attributed to last year. It was a pretty nice winter, real good weather. We had a lot more people in the RV park, and this year it's been pretty stormy. So hopefully the weather will cooperate, and we will see some increase in occupancy numbers moving forward. I just wanted to let you know that we're starting to work on the budget for next fiscal year, and we also have 2 vacancies on the budget committee, and the deadline for applications is the 25th of this month. So if we are taking applications for the budget committee.
Have you advertised in the newspaper?
Yes, we have. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was, what is reimbursement,
Reimbursed expenses?
no, reimbursed income?
Where are you?
I'm on the budget. I'm in the profit and loss budget performance. Reimbursed, what is it called? Let me see here. I'm sorry, I don't have a pencil, so I can't mark it.
So are you under miscellaneous income? Reimbursement income?
Yeah, what is that? An unbudgeted item at over $10,000 right now.
That is, we had some miscellaneous costs that one of them was the diesel spill in the marina, where we had to put out expenses and we got reimbursed for those expenses. That took a big chunk of that.
The other one was on the expenditure side with under personal services, what is lead, what's it called?
Services lead.
Yeah, what is that?
That's a position that we created for Kelly Stewart. The services lead, oversees the campground and marina. She staffs the front desk, and she oversees all of the contracts for the moorage customers, the storage customers, and oversees the reservations for all of the campground guests.
Okay. And then earlier you said that next month we'll have a resolution
to review some projects that have just come up that we want to transfer some contingency money into capital outlay. An example is this furnace in this building has gone kaput, and that's going to take over $7,000 to replace. So we will be reviewing some projects.
Okay,
next
so
month.
what you're proposing then is, even though we're 133,000, are you just proposing to add more to capital outlay
Yes.
for a line item? To
Yes.
create a new line item?
Right,
Okay,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I like this report tonight.
Thank you, Nancy. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
No?
Okay, hearing no other comments, we will approve the financial statement by consent and move on to item number 5. And Manager Stephen Leskin will tell us about an invitation to join the South Coast Port Coalition.
Right. The background behind the South Coast Port Coalition is that the ports south of here, a couple years back, formed a coalition to lobby the state for the purchase of a dredge. And they were facing the issue of not having enough money to actually pay for dredge costs. What I learned early on after moving down to Bandon back in August was that typical cost for dredging was in the $30, $35 a cubic yard range. By going to the state, having the state buy the dredge, the South Coast Ports Coalition was able to get their cost per cubic yard down to about $3.60 a cubic yard. Bandon was the first port to go through that. They finished at the last day of the in-water work period, February 15th. There's now a report came in yesterday just saying that they've done the dredges now in Gold Beach. After we join the coalition, we'll have an opportunity to get the dredge and the dredging at a very, very reduced rate, and I'm recommending that to the commission. The other issue about that is that the engineer who put all of the mechanics together was Jack Aiken, who I got to know when I was in Bandon, and he'll do work for us up here at a reduced rate as a member of the coalition as well. So there's a lot of benefits to us to joining the coalition. We've been invited. I had lunch last week with members of the coalition in Coos Bay, and they're ready to invite us. All I need is a resolution from you saying that that's what you want to do. So I would ask for a motion instructing me to join the South Coast Coalition next time they take an application.
I would make that motion that we do join the South Coast Coalition.
Question.
Here, a second?
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
What, there's a fee to this, to us, an annual fee? No?
No, nothing.
Ever?
No fee. I'm not going to say ever. Well,
All right.
there's other things that the coalition is going to look into, and it's been a powerful organization in terms of getting the dredge and getting the attention of the Coastal Caucus legislators. So they may go off in a direction of lobbying the legislature. So they may impose a fee in the future.
Not today, though.
Not today, and I certainly don't know of any talk to do it.
Thank you.
I have a question
Sure.
also. Who operates the dredge? We don't have to have our employees do it, do we?
That's correct. When the state bought the dredge, they entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Porter Brookings, and Porter Brookings has taken responsibility for operating the dredge, and through the technical expertise that Brookings has acquired and Jack Aiken has acquired, They'll help us make the arrangements to move the dredge, get the dredge mobilized into the water, out of the water. They'll help with the technical assistance with upland disposal, or however, whatever disposal method is best.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor.
Second that.
Okay, I have a second from Commissioner Michael. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed.
All right.
Okay, next item, number 6. Proposal for erosion control and dredging. Once again, that's Stephen.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so we want to put up pictures of the erosion. We've been suffering a lot of erosion behind the sea row on the eastern part of the property. And a lot of this has been, we'll see some historical pictures. Let's start with the historical pictures, the satellite images. So you can see, this is the oldest, from where I'm sitting, I can't quite read the dates, but this is the oldest satellite image of sea row. And if we click through, you can start to see how much accretion there is in the tip there, and it just continues to. So you can just see how far back the shoreline is moving. I think that's the most current, but you can see just how far back the land is moving.
Yeah.
So there's definitely an issue on sea row. In December, I think we can click to the current photographs.
Your bulkhead's clear over here, though.
Bulkhead's over there, but that's not what the area we're talking about. We're further east than there.
I understand that.
Yeah, we are further east than there. So this would be the view looking east. You'll see that we put out survey stakes here. And if we can continue on, so you can see the land falling away.
It's changed a lot this winter, hasn't it?
This was a particularly hard winter.
Yeah.
If you go back to that one picture where that hole is, Terry, that's the ground cloth that we put in when we actually built the sea row. So we've actually made it into the sites with this erosion. So it's gotten bad.
All right, so that's it. So, like I said just a moment ago, Jack Aiken is an engineer that I met when I was at Bandon, and one of the things that I learned about when I was there was potential bioengineered solutions where they'll plant and build up using natural material to stabilize the shore banks. What I expect to hear from Jack Aiken next month is that we'll take the dredge spoils that are up behind that lot and push them into the bank and then stabilize that. So we'll be taking soil that went into the boat basin, probably from the same location, and then pushing it back, so it'll be a big loop. So my request for resolution is just I want a resolution that I can enter into the contract that I've included here, so I can retain Jack Aiken to start doing the design work on this. And he's limited it at $5,000 for design and permitting.
And that's coming from where? The dollars.
I don't actually,
Well, that will be part of the contingency
Yeah.
transfer that we're going to be proposing.
right.
I have a question
Sure.
I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Obviously, you see the fabric, as Jason pointed out. That erosion, to me, have you determined whether it's caused by the river action or water coming off our parking lot cascading down? I mean, there's two different types of erosion here.
I think it's more river action. because the water tides, we've been taking photos of it and measuring it once a month and monitoring it. And the water levels this year have been a little higher than years past, and that's what some of this bulkhead is going to come up with. But we can see that the water levels are making it into the bank, just in that back portion of the property. So it's more river issues, I would think. Than it
When you
would.
pave a parking lot, there's more water sheening off of it. We never paved it, we gravelled it, we
Yeah.
clothed it and gravelled it, so there is more water. If we have that water under control, yeah, I'd tend to agree with you. That would be river.
The other issue connected to this is that FEMA was out this past week. We'll be applying for a FEMA grant because apparently a lot of this eroded damage happened during December, and there's FEMA money available to fix this. Yeah.
That's usually-
It is really good.
Yeah. So,
Do we need to make an resolution?
I would like a resolution that I can enter into this.
In
So,
the past, we've had a number and a paper with the whole resolution. Can we just simply do that?
Make a motion.
Make a
you
motion
could do a
to,
verbal motion. Yeah, that's okay. It's being recorded.
well, I would move that we do approve this process that needs to be done to take care of that bank.
Or a second?
I would like to question the motion being presented. And I think I wouldn't second that motion. I think what he's asking for is a motion to allow him to enter into contract talks with Aiken, not to go ahead and repair the bank.
I agree.
So, and Nancy, not to fault, I think your motion,
Then I can amend the motion.
thank you.
Let me just, I just want a motion to enter into this agreement with Jack.
And I
Okay.
agree.
Because we'll still you still
Come up
have,
with some ideas.
Jack is gonna bring ideas next month, and then we can go back and forth on whether that's the right approach. Right now, I just need to get the design work started. The design and permitting started, and funding.
I would second Nancy's amended motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, it looks like we're going to now hear about our bulkhead. Jason, you're up.
Good evening.
Jason is our head of our maintenance department.
Basically, I'm just presenting pictures of the actual bulkhead. So what we're looking at is just kind of some of the erosion and some of the debris you're seeing on the grass. That's the water levels at high tide. That's actually leaving the debris up on the grass. So right this year, last year, with the shape that the bulkhead's been, the water levels have made it up higher. And with the bulkhead sitting so wet, everything is just settled. So we've seen a lot more activity with everything sloping more off of the sidewalk end towards the wall. So it's kind of what we're looking at there. And click on to the next one. And then this is kind of at low tide, and there's portions of the lower walls that are actually bulging. Some of the planks are giving out. They're not breaking yet, but they've shown signs of movement, and that's kind of some concerns of ours. And that's a little better picture. Thinking some odd pictures.
I don't know which way you took it.
I don't know what that is.
That's the
Okay.
wood bulkhead there.
Just covered in. It might be some sand that we put up against the bulkhead. Is that what that is?
I can't tell. It's at an
It's,
angle.
Yeah, we've been filling the low spots with sand and just stuff off the spoil site. So I think that's what we're looking at there. Yeah, and that's a filled area there. We filled some of these low spots just 2 weeks ago, and some of these pictures coming up are the same spots that have already washed out with some of the tides. And there's probably a good I'd say 10 good areas along the bulkhead from the fish cleaning station up past the B road that have become spots like this that are more kind of a drain funnel for the river water. And this is on the back side, this is on the land side of the bulkhead.
So is the tide
So-
coming over top of the barrier? Is that
Yeah.
what it's doing?
Yeah,
It's
the
not
ti-
coming from east up the,
Yeah, it's just the river levels.
so
with all-
it needs to be raised.
Yeah, and here we've got, there's actual cable tensioners that hold the piling in place, that are back rooted into the parking lot and into the property. And some of the cables are actually showing wear and starting to fray. And that's some concern of ours as well. And then there's some displacement of the piling that are off the bulkhead. And we've attempted to try to nail and reattach things, but I mean, with all the, there's not a whole lot of movement there you can do with it. And that's just another low spot. And like I said, we're concerned they're trip hazards. We worry about the children. What we've done in the past is we've walked it with sledgehammers and tampers and tried to break the ground, and literally it falls in 2 to 3 feet, just to try to stay on top of it so we don't deal with people falling into some of these areas. And there's a couple spots we've actually put up flagging now because, you know, they're becoming issues. This is below the fish cleaning station by the boat ramp, and these are displacements of the timbers that are actually on the bulkhead underneath of the fish cleaning station. So that's some concern there. And again, that's just the back cables that are tied into the underneath the parking lot into the shoreline that are exposed.
You know what they're anchored to?
I'm not sure.
Dead man or some sort.
Yeah.
Hopefully concrete.
Yeah.
And that's just one large sunk spot right there. So it's gotten worse over the years. I've been here for 15 years, and it used to be nice and flat off the sidewalk and a gradual slope down, and it was easier to mow. And you get out there now with a mower and you're sideways, and it's a whole different terrain. You know, so it's definitely seen some movement in the past years. So that's kind of where we're at with it. So it's kind of my presentation. We did go out for bid a couple years ago with some engineers to look at a new design of replacement, and it kind of just got left there. But it's in our fiscal plan, so I'd just like to see something kind of keep it in our back minds. That's about what I've got on it. I don't know.
The easiest way to solve that, in my personal opinion, is you need fabric between the wood and the sand you're trying to hold.
Mhm.
There's engineered fabric you put in there. What you're having is you're finding a hole, water's finding it, carrying the sand out. You put fabric in there to plug the hole. When you do riprap on a beach, you put fabric down, you put the rock on the fabric. Rock doesn't stop the sand. The rock holds the fabric, which stops the sand. And the water will flow through the fabric, but it won't let the sand go with it. It'd be my opinion to staff, if you have an area like that, dig down there, put a little fabric in front of it, and just watch it a little bit and see if it doesn't stop the sand movement through the hole. Basically, that's what it is. My personal opinion, it's not the wood given away, it's the holes in the wood. And there's going to be holes. It expands and shrinks with the weather. There are going to be cracks and holes. We need to plug those with fabric on the land side. And that's something maybe staff could try, Jason, would be dig. It only take a hand shovel in a couple hours. You dig down, put a piece of fabric there, cover it back up, and I guarantee you it'd probably stop that hole from coming back.
We can play with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you might try if you got reoccurring holes. Of course, we're not at the high tides now, so.
We do. This is this week.
Well, yes, we will, but as the season, in the next coming months, the tides are
Yeah,
going to go
things
down.
will
So.
drop down, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Do we need to do any further discussion on
No,
this at this time?
No, that was just informational.
It's informational, okay.
And that came out of, when I interviewed with the committee back in January, there was some discussion about the bulkheads. And what I found when I got here didn't seem to match what the discussion was at that time. And that's why I thought it was important to bring it to the committee now.
That's
So-
a big change.
That's a big change from, yeah, that was a big change. It changed my opinion from that time as well. So that's why I thought it was necessary to bring that up.
Okay, item 8, federal dredging appropriation.
Yeah, so the port is responsible for dredging its marina, and since the Siuslaw is a navigable waterway, the feds take responsibility for keeping the channel navigable. And we received an appropriation this year of $771,000 for dredging. So the Jacinta, the boat that makes its appearance every couple of years, should be back this coming year. It's not enough to get the appropriation. You gotta also agitate the feds. So that's something that we will be doing either through PNWA or meetings that we go to. There's a dredge coordination meeting in Salem, I think on the 1st, and I'll be at that. And so getting the money is one thing, getting the boat here is another. And so, that's just, it's out there. It should happen this year, and we're on top of it.
So they've allocated $771,000 for this fiscal year. What is their 216? What does that mean? Is that a September or June, or do you know?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I
Maybe
don't.
would you next time or sometime would you? I'd like to know what that means.
Okay, all right.
And then who do you agitate?
The Corps of
So
Engineers.
it's the core that
It's-
you got to push
it's
around
the core
and
that-
make.
I don't know that you push the Corps around.
Well,
But
you
agitate.
is-
Agitate
is
is,
an
yeah. But when,
interesting word.
when will you be here?
So just because we have the money doesn't mean they're coming.
That's right.
No,
And
that's
that's,
them. They set
that's-
their own
So
time.
we
Right,
see
and-
that they've allocated it, and when we see, that's what I wonder about the fiscal year. Okay, what does that mean? Is their fiscal year in September? And if it's not, if we haven't agitated them enough in September, we lose it?
I'll find out about the timing.
Okay,
but-
because I see they got another one for 17.
Right. So, the responsibilities of the West Coast dredge now include into Washington and out to Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
And apparently there's a lot more dredging, say, like in Newport as well. So the ship has been tasked with a lot more than just the immediate coastal ports. So that's why there's now competition for dredge time.
So it's gonna be up to you to do the agitation.
I'll agitate.
Well,
Okay.
it seems like they always show up here toward the end of the season when
It does,
it's worthless
yeah.
to us.
Yeah, they're out there while we're trying to
Yeah,
fish.
yeah.
When it doesn't help them.
Yeah.
So the second part of this says that this also includes additional funding needed for jetty monitoring, a sediment evaluation study, and sediment testing.
Right.
What does that mean for us here at the Port of Siuslaw?
Well, that's a really good question. I was out at the Coast Guard station a couple weeks back, and I met the chief. I can never pronounce his name. Chief Trugoning, thank you. And he was saying that they've lost about 400 feet off each side of the jetty. The problem is that they're submerged, and that they're now a navigable risk. And they're trying to get markers for that, but they're apparently not submerged enough that they'll clear a boat. So that's in the process of, that's the first steps towards getting those part of the jetties repaired.
Is the monitoring, sediment evaluation study, and sediment testing? That's what you think that is for?
That is, yes. And in fact, I was lucky enough to attend a meeting with Peter DeFazio last week, and brought it to his attention again that we have navigable issues on this waterway.
I mean, is it realistic that someday we will get funding to repair the jetties? Or is that,
Unknown. Unknown. I mean, it seems like a lot of money. We're not the only ones in competition for it. The strategic business plan gave an estimate of $122 million. I mean, that's just a lot of money. So.
This money doesn't roll over next year if we don't use it. It's gone.
I think it's gone, but I think what happened this year was that this year's money rolled over. 2015 rolled into 2016. So I don't quite understand federal budgeting. No. I don't understand federal budgeting.
That
So,
is interesting because they just released that a couple months ago, I think. Isn't that the money that was in that, it was an announcement?
And the appropriations bill,
yeah, this was the announcement.
Yeah.
This email was the announcement.
So that's for this year.
That's for this year, right?
And it's just part of the Corps' budget, and they may not spend it all here, and they'll just spend it somewhere else. But it's allotted to us, so we need to probably contact the Corps and make sure we get our money's worth.
It would be nice
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
when they are coming, because it seems to really limit the fishermen around here, because they
Right.
don't do anything till the
Yeah.
season's basically over.
I will look into it. I don't know what.
And we're
what to
probably,
do, but
we're probably one of the more restricted bars on the whole Oregon coast.
And the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've said this before. I mean, I think if the jetties get repaired, it's not a port issue. It's a regional issue, and
Yeah.
it's not only the port that's going to make that happen. It's going to be the city and the county that are lobbying the federal people, the federal
Right.
congressmen for that money.
We can thank Peter DeFazio for this, because he's the one that has really pushed well for us in appropriating money for the Port of Siuslaw.
I agree.
Okay, good. Okay, we'll move on to number 9. A district tax base analysis and a recommendation for rotating location of commission meetings.
When I first got here, I was curious about where the money from the district came, and Richard on the staff put together this chart, and I'll just read through it quickly for our audience. Fern Ridge contributes about 2% to our budget. Mapleton about 6%. Crestwell less than 1%. South Lane County 1%, less than 1%. Crow, Applegate, Lorraine 5%. Blatchley 3%. City of Florence is 42%. And Lane County, the urban area around, or the rural area around Florence also contributes about 42%. So my proposal was to move the commission meetings to reflect that our tax base is larger than just Florence. So I'm proposing that on May 18th, the commission meet at Blatchley. The start time has to be a little early to accommodate their district-wide meeting. And then on August 17th, meet up in Mapleton at the high school. And so that's the proposal. If someone wants to make a resolution to support that.
I think it's a good idea that we be visible throughout our whole tax district, not just here in Florence.
I agree. And I would note that the Mapleton, 15 miles up the road, their mascot is a sailor.
Yeah.
So we can support them by going up there once in a while.
It's a good idea. Any other comments, commissioners?
Can I just ask
Sure.
the amount, there's a column here that says amount received on Crestwell. Is that $5.69? What is,
What it looks like.
It's probably one residence in Crestwell that's in our tax district.
Oh,
Seriously.
something like that. I don't.
Less than 1%.
South
Yeah.
Lane County, $284.45.
It's
I'm sure our boundary map, as it may go close to Crestwell, probably just be my guess.
Okay.
Figuring this stuff out has been complicated. It doesn't lay out real easy. So
I mean, I could see going to Mapleton, but I don't want to drive all over the county.
To where?
I don't want to drive.
Mike's
all over
probably the only one that
county.
knows where Blatchley is.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get through the slide first.
That's
Yeah.
right, we'd have to drive around, that's right.
It'll be fixed here pretty soon.
Blatchley would be tied into one of their meetings?
no, the school district meeting starts at 7, so we conflicted with them. If we wanted to have our meeting on the traditional third Wednesday of the month, then that's when they have their school district meeting. And so we elected, rather than change the date, just to move it forward an hour and a half.
I mean, has the port ever done anything like this where they've gone to
In fact,
different areas?
excuse me. In fact, I believe that they have.
So this will be at the school, I'm sorry, the Triangle Lake School.
That's correct.
I would make a motion that we take the manager's suggestion. These people pay taxes just like everybody else, and they're entitled to their say. If they have anything to say, I think we ought to spend money in their community and advertise that we will be holding a meeting there, but I think it's a good idea.
I do too, and I'll second it.
Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Did you vote, David?
I'm not
Or
opposing
did you
it,
abstain?
but just some meetings, if they're too far out, I might not be able to make them.
Well, it will be good to find Blatchley because the watershed has meetings there and I haven't gone because I'm not sure where they are.
I can show you on the
Okay.
district map in my office after the meeting.
You just drive Highway 36. You
I've
go
been
right
through Triangle Lake.
where you blinked and you missed it, because Blashley's right after it.
Okay, that's it.
Well, the vote I heard was yay for 4 of us, but I didn't actually hear a vote from you, David. You can
Yes.
abstain or you can
No, I'll
vote.
say yes.
Okay?
Well, I
Vote
think
is
we
unanimous.
we could carpool so that there's not 5 cars going up there or 6
Yeah.
cars.
Well. Okay, we're up to item number 10, Commissioners' reports. You get to go first, Nancy, since you always
Well,
have something to report.
I only have 2. On February 23rd, I went to the city council. On the 24th of February, I went to a watershed meeting and I totally forgot to go to city council meeting a week ago. So I'll be there Monday.
Commissioner Duman?
I don't have any to report. Thank you.
I don't either.
I don't
David?
either run.
Okay, I went to a few meetings. I went to the Florence area urban renewal meeting at the event center on the 23rd, and where they presented some very interesting plans for the city of Florence, both on the Highway 101 section and Old Town. It's all in the planning stage. On March 1st, Stephen Leskin and I met with Joe and Aaron at City Hall. We had a nice little discussion and made sure we were all on the same page.
I was at that one too. I
And you were
forgot
there,
that.
yes, Nancy was there. And then on the 16th, which was today, we had a joint urban renewal meeting and city council meeting to go over the funding for all these projects. And I think that's about my accomplishments for last month. If anybody have anything else? Okay, item number 11, important news from around the state.
You know, I just included, I just get a lot of news clippings about port business. I just found this article on Astoria, and Astoria's ongoing attempt to keep the sea lions off their docks and moorage. And so I just included that.
It's interesting. And it actually works. What they do.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, maybe that's the before picture, because they said they put a wire across there and the sea lions can't get up there then.
Well, this article is dated February 17th. I haven't seen another article on the sea lion since, so maybe it is working.
It's amazing. I know. Just watching them climb up on the Whistler out in front. I mean, it's a 4 foot, 5 foot vertical jump for them to get up on top and sit there, and only the strongest and the biggest can get up there, like king of the mountain.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody's been, yeah. It's
I fished out of Astoria this last year from the Bowie 10 fishery, and you get within 20 miles of Astoria, you can hear them barking,
yes.
and you get out there and they own those docks. You don't go near those docks. It's just a really horrendous thing. happy we don't have that problem here. And we certainly don't want that to happen. Any other discussions?
Have you heard anything about the crab closure, salmon closure?
Not anything that's not in the public. No.
And I think the razor clams are still not safe
Still closed
to get.
I
in
think,
this area.
I think in northern Oregon they opened it, I'm not
Did they?
sure. Yeah.
Any other discussion? None, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 7:40. And at this time, we will go into executive session. And we are going to go back into open session at this time and discuss the Wilbur property transaction at 8:53 and a half. And during the executive session, we did discuss the property, and we have decided that we, at the present time, will probably not go through with the transaction. And we understand we will lose our earnest money, but that is what it looks like we're going to do. We will probably need to vote on that. So I'm going to see if someone would like to make a motion that we withdraw approval of the purchase of the Wilbur property.
I make the motion to withdraw the purchase of the Wilbur property.
Do I hear a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor, let's do it by roll call. Dina, you want to call roll?
Commissioner Buckwald,
I've declared a conflict of interest originally.
Commissioner Huntington,
Aye.
Commissioner Rickard,
I'll vote yes.
Commissioner Caputo,
Aye.
Commissioner Duman.
Aye.
Okay, the motion has passed with one commissioner abstaining. Okay, at this time I will close the open session and we will adjourn for the evening.
Do you want these left here?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please,
And I'm gonna make